Hi all. Hi, welcome back. D-Day at Saipan. This is part 14, just about to start. Um, I've been away for a few days. I felt like that last part was dragged on a bit and I got a bit burnt out and things were getting on top of me a bit. There's a lot more to look at in this game. I made some comments in the header of part 13. Bigger stacks of units as well, and still not that sure about what I'm trying to achieve and what I want to do. Yeah, and AP kicking in quite a bit for me as well. On top of that, I did mention that a lot of the that last part, it was an awful lot of stopping and starting, so that can sometimes be a bit of it can throw things a bit because you're coming back and you're having to start thinking again about what you're trying to do. I've moved so many units here, but I've not completed the whole action phase. And if I get, ideally, you want to do all that in the one sort of, well, in the one sort of take, so that you're concentrating on what you're all doing. I was having to come back and then think about it again. I stopped and started, and I thought, anyway, yeah, and rules, things coming up, and things not sure, and also, I was talking about what we need to achieve, our goal here. I watched back, I hadn't completely watched the two parts of what I think the channel is it Hex Encountered? He's got a couple of videos, an unboxing video, and then two videos on the gameplay. He doesn't show everything, it's just to get an idea of the game. Fortunately, there's a lot of mistakes that I've noticed, but however, to be honest, there was 2 or 3 things that I said, oh, that's not right, and then I checked, and I thought, oh, right, I had that wrong, and he did actually have that right, so there was a couple of them moments as well. So, again, there's not an awful lot to look at out there on this game, so normally you can go and look at something and get the idea of how to do it before you start playing. That's what I've done in the past, but there's nothing like that there, so there was a couple of eye-opening moments for me there. As you got to the end of the playthrough, and I hadn't watched it all. I'd watched the first part of it, but hadn't watched part 2 completely. And he was just playing the first scenario, the first day 1 scenario, like what we are sort of meant to be doing, but we're hopefully going to carry it on. Although, yeah, we'll see. About what the line was that you were to achieve, and he was taking it literally that it was that line up the back. I can't believe that's the case, because the best he got was 2 or 3 units up there, I think, and that was all he got. And then he also talked about after the game about this was the historical line that the Americans had reached, and I thought, well, if that's a historical line, surely they must have got to that line with some units at least. I mean, I think, like I've said to you, you would need 24 units adjacent to that line to win the game at that stage, or 15 for a draw. And we're still not 100% sure if we need 24 here to carry on the game, or if it's 15 and we're at the draw stage where we then get to carry on as well. I think I'm going to have to pop a question out there regarding all this, because like I say, he was under the assumption that it was that line he had to achieve for that. And yeah, although we've talked about this, it kind of shows it as that line in the setup display. It calls it the 0-1 line on the setup display is that line up the back. But then it contradicts with a couple other things, because this isn't a solid line, this is a dotted line. And yeah, it's a bit of a mismatch. So I think that's worthy of asking a question, to be honest. But I feel like there's more questions to come. Yeah, so yeah, I did want to talk about a few things, but hopefully the fact I've not got an awful lot more to do with the US action phase, yeah, right, Grant, we'll see, that I can have a bit of a chat about these things that have come up and hopefully complete this US action phase. Right, well, there's quite a few things. Martin's asked a few more questions. Got a few more answers that you can see he's still scratching his head at sometimes. Joe is a bit brief sometimes with his answers, and they don't come across terribly clear. And Martin's having to ask questions after the answer, and then you get cases where, which I found here myself, because I popped a question into the end of the answer to a question that Martin had asked, and then it kind of gets buried in there. And sometimes, like, if you don't subscribe to the post, you might not see it. Whether Joe's going to do that or not, I'm pretty sure Martin probably subscribed. Well, I think if he created that post, so I think it automatically you subscribe to it. Yeah, there's just an awful lot, I think, coming up that starting to bother me anyway. Right, anyway, get on to what we're looking at. Right, well, this one was, Martin was asking about being, the question on BGG, being in command, game turn 1 to 4 and game turn 5 plus. His question is, during game turn 1 to 4, all units are in command per scenario instructions, and units within range of HQs or stacked with heroes have 3 actions. Yeah, understood. Other units use the 3 actions per division allotment. Yeah, understood. Right. After game turn 4, units are in command if they are within the command range of either their HQs or the respective command post. Yeah. All such units also get 3 actions. Yeah. Units that are out of command can only do 3 actions. Yes. And then he finishes it off with, and the 3 actions per division are no longer used. Is this correct? And I was like, the 3 actions per division are no longer used. This is where we get, at the moment, we get 3 actions per division. That's these 3 wee blue cubes there. And I was like, oh, you don't get them come game turn 5? And so Martin's asking this question. Again, it's a brief answer for Joe, it's just correct. So what Martin stated is correct. I looked in the book, and I looked at command, and I tried to find when it changes to game turn 5. I mean, the fact Martin's asked this question, it must be there. So I've asked a follow-up question, and I'm going to talk about here, because hopefully at least it'll trigger Martin to like tell me where it is, because I'm not really needing Joe to show me this. I'm just wanting to know where it says it in the rules, or where Martin's got it from. I just said, hi all, okay, it seems clear that this is the case, as Martin has suggested it and Joe has confirmed it, but where does it say that the 3 actions per division are no longer used? Because I couldn't see it. It must be there. It must be there. I'm not trying to say it's not there, I just want to see it, I suppose. Just looking on the sequence of play track there. No, there's nothing there either. Okay, I just couldn't find where that becomes either as written, or it becomes clear that you don't get the 3 actions anyway. So, yeah. So another one this was my question, but I should have added this as part of my question, and I'm annoyed because now I've added it as a second question after getting the answer. And again, like I say, sometimes these can get lost, so I might have to re-ask this as another question. And it was regarding the movement limitations, and it was this whole bit about, we were talking, it was when we were trying to move, we were talking about moving through this steady yellow position, and it tells you in the rules that, when a non-tank unit leaves a steady field of fire, this requires the expenditure of 1 additional movement point unless the unit is accompanied by a tank unit. So that's the wording for it, and then there's also a part about intense means you spend all your movement points. But for steady, it's 1 extra movement point. So fair enough, but there's no talk about if the field of fire is disrupted. And it felt like it was probably common sense that, if it was disrupted, you wouldn't be paying that extra cost. But I thought, because it's not there, I'll ask a question. So ask that question. Again, Joe's pretty brief, but it just says no. It doesn't add that point. Good, fair enough. What I should have added to that was when it talks about when a non-tank, and then unless accompanied by a tank unit in both their parts, is this one of the cases? My question was, I should have added to this question at the time, but is this a case where the above rule states tank, that it means exactly that, and an LVTA would not satisfy the rule? So let's just say this guy is not disrupted, and we're wanting to move into here and then into here, we would have to pay additional 1 movement point to move from there to there because it's leaving steady field of fire. If we were accompanied by a tank, we wouldn't pay that. If we were accompanied by an LVTA, would we still benefit from that? I get the feeling it's similar. I think I spoke about it. I get the feeling it's similar to movement under fire, and an LVTA would not help you in that case. But I asked a question, and unfortunately, I haven't got an answer to that as well. So yeah, so I thought I'd talk about it here in the hope that maybe somebody might, whether Joe watches it or not, or even if Martin knows what I'm asking there, he might know the answer to it. Oh, well, just to quickly gloss over, again, this is another question that Martin has asked, and we're going to have to find out what all this means. When it talks in the HQ phase about assigning a tank and assign tank and engineer units to US battalions. This is in step 4 of the HQ phase. Okay, it doesn't matter just now, it's not happening until game turn 5, but I think Martin's original question was, what does this entail, doesn't it? Yeah. And Joe talks about that means that his answer was that means that if any of these units are not yet on the map but in the reserve box and you wish to use them in the current turn, you must place them on or adjacent to the appropriate battalion HQ. And of course Martin's follow-up question is, there's no reserve box and all tanks and engineers have fixed turns of entry. I can only assume Joe's getting muddled up with the previous game, Iwo Jima, which I think had that similar thing. So he carries on, is this perhaps a carryover from previous game, and that step 4 in the HQ phase is superfluous? Superfluous. Oh, Martin, that word, I wouldn't know how to pronounce that. In fact, I'm not even sure I know the meaning of that word. Superfluous. That's how it's pronounced. I had to go and look it up, to be honest. Yeah, I've seen the word, and I think I understand what it was meaning. But yeah, basically unnecessary. That's the word you should use there, man. Superfluous. Come on. You know, there's Scottish people trying to follow along here. Anyway, yeah, so is that necessary anymore? Joe's follow-up to that was, you can still cycle them into reserve to get replacements, right? And this is a question he's asking. And he says, I'm answering this off the top of my head. And that's that. Martin comes back, yes, but it's handled differently in a later step. You reserve units by placing a reserve marker on them, and any units that leaves reserve status receives free moves. As a result, no HQ assignment or reserve boxes are required. So I don't even know what's going on there, but it's kind of important to find that out, what all that's about. But yeah, this is just one of the answers that isn't really getting things moving along, I'm afraid. Yeah, this was one I had a wee follow-up question to as well. Unfortunately, Martin answered that, which I think Martin will probably answer the one regarding the 3 actions part, because it was his question, and I'm sure he'll pick it up and give me something. This was Japanese elite units withdrawing more than once. I had wondered a little bit about, well, not Martin's question, but just seemed a bit weird how it worked. We were seeing elite units withdrawn and then withdrawn again back into the same hex where they withdrew from, and I did wonder about all that. He says, is there a limit to how many times a Japanese elite unit can withdraw in one US action phase? Can it, for example, withdraw to an empty position, be attacked in this new position, and then withdraw back to its initial position, assuming no US units have moved there? No limit, Joe says, don't want unnecessary bookkeeping. Okay, so fair enough. That's a straightforward answer, no limit. And to be honest, Martin's question there might actually be answering my question, because the way he's talking about it and moving about there. My follow-up question was, can it still only be attacked once in the turn if it withdraws? That was my concern. You know, a unit withdraws out of a hex. No, you attack it, it withdraws out of a hex. into a hex that you've still got units that could attack it again. Can you attack it? And Martin, clearly reminds me that I think the only limit is one attack per position, not per unit. So an elite unit can be attacked multiple times in a phase. So yeah, fair enough. It's not the actual unit that you attack, it is the position you attack. So if it was to move to another position that hadn't yet been attacked, then you'd be able to attack it again. However, I suppose if it moved to a position and joined up with one of the other detachments and that detachment had already been attacked, then you would not be able to. Yeah. Okay, good stuff. And yeah, the most recent questions, a couple more. Martin asking about Japanese artillery fire, how you prioritise. The question's titled Japanese artillery fire priorities. Is not sure how to choose it. And well, he kind of gets an answer to that. It's concentrate. Right, hang on. I suppose if I start on it, I should carry on with it. On turn 2 of my game, Japanese artillery fire hits 8 units in red field of fire. I check all units in intense field of fire hexes first and hit and disrupt units with the target symbol. Are there any priorities I should follow after that, or can I choose any unit? Joe says next priority would be hexes that qualify as concentrated targets over stacked. And then Martin still has to ask, and then okay, but after that it's player's choice, and he's not going to answer that. I'm assuming it must be player's choice after that. And then the last one, well, actually known as Arata, on card 10 apparently, doesn't have any fire symbol. Has an artillery fire symbol but no colour on the target symbol, sorry. So Joe replies with choose another card for the colour and target right after drawing card 10. So it must be an error on that card. And the other one, placing heroes, it must say when you place a hero, it must give this information here. On the back of the book, page 32, event descriptions. Add a hero marker to 1 US stack in intensive field of fire. Priority according to fire colour. Japanese game 1 depth marker and nearest position. So Martin's question here was, the description says to place 1 hero in intensive field of fire. Priority according to fire colour. What does that mean? Joe says that means the hero has to be placed in an intensive field of fire of a Japanese position of that colour as a first priority. And yeah, and Martin Celeste asks, which colour do you mean? You start with the first of the 3 colours on the card. I can only assume that that's what it is. Yeah, the card's going to have 3 colours on it. But it's not really that clear there. And you need to ask these questions. It just says priority according to fire colour. I don't know. I suppose you could maybe think, right, there's 3 fire colours there, you look at them left to right. I mean, I don't know. Not sure. So again, some of the answers just aren't clearing things up completely, and anyway. Okay, and I've took a few notes here myself, because I did eventually get around to studying the rules a bit more deeply. I've not got right the way through everything yet, but I've took a few notes of things. Right, first one, and I don't know, I may have made a mistake with this. I would have thought Martin would have picked up on it, but you never know. I know there was a couple of times I withdrew an elite unit, and it's all been detachments we've been seeing. Like this guy here, yeah, he's one of them. Well, this one it must have been has withdrawn from an attack into there. I think probably from the purple position here. Sorry, I'll zoom in a bit there. I think when we've attacked here, we've revealed that it's been an elite unit. It's been able to withdraw into there. That's fair enough. But however, I don't think I was aware, and hopefully I've not done it. And if I have, then it's just going to have to go. But I was reading a bit more carefully into it, and it says elite units withdrawing. Well, this is what I wrote down, so this might not be the word done. Elite units withdrawing should be placed face down unless moving to join an already revealed unit. So yeah, I didn't, and this was one actually that the Hex Encounter guy got. I think he had withdrew a unit and then he turned it face down. I was like, that's not right, but I never really thought. And then I looked and I thought, oh, that is right, and you're wrong, Grant. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm right all the time. Don't for once think that I'm saying that I get everything perfect. I want to get things perfect as best I can, and that's why, well, when rules aren't so clear, it frustrates me a bit, and it makes my job harder. I mean, it's not a job, but makes my experience of the game harder. It makes the fun experience less fun, really, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I thought I'd find the actual word down. It's on page 18, 8.3.2, Japanese withdrawal. And this is if the elite unit can withdraw, follow the below priorities for placing the unit. If there are unoccupied Japanese positions, unoccupied by either side, within 2 hexes, move the unit into that position. The position does not have to be in communication. If there is more than one position that is unoccupied, randomly determine the position the unit moves into, place the unit face down. But the following step 2, is I think this is what, most of the time this is what's happened to me. If there are no unoccupied positions within 2 hexes, and there is a Japanese occupied position within 2 hexes, and the withdrawing unit would not be overstacked, this is the bit where it needs to be either, does it not tell you, this can only happen if the units involved are a tank and a detachment, or 2 detachments. And then it says move it face down into that position. If there are any revealed units already present in the hex, the withdrawing unit is moved their face up. Now, I think that's what happened to me most of the time. Well, I say most of the time, hopefully all the time that's been my withdrawals, but I don't know, I get the feeling that I might have blundered with one of them before, and it'd just be too far to go back, I think. And I don't know, I mean, we've got this unit's disrupted in there, what's that? Well, that's not an elite unit, so that can't have anything to do with it. I might have just got lucky and my withdrawals have just been the withdrawn into another hex with another unit, and that keeps them face up. Well, if the unit's face up, it's obviously it has to be face up, doesn't it? Or you wouldn't be able to, because you might be overstacking it. Right, anyway. So that was the first thing I've wrote down here as a wee note. Yeah, the next note I've got written down is just the word attrition. And that being, in the old games, you used to be able to one of the ways to try and get rid of a CC weapon requirement, or occasionally a flanking weapon requirement, or sometimes a naval gunfire weapon requirement, was to make an attack and get enough strength to be able to then have the option of attrition, where you took a step loss to destroy the depth marker. When I'm talking about weapon requirements on the actual depth marker, not the actual unit. You can attrition a unit away, but you could attrition take a step loss to destroy the depth marker. And I read that in the rules. I wonder if I can find the bit I read it. Hang on. Okay, I started hunting there, and I thought the best way to do that is go on the computer and search for it, the word attrition, and there was one occurrence of it, and it's in rule. It's on page 17 in rule 8.2.3. It's actually not part of the rule. It's just a designer's note, which gets me thinking that this is maybe not something you can do within this game. 8.2.3 is Japanese close combat requirement, and it's telling you about, well, let me read it. Japanese units and depth markers may list close combat as a weapon requirement. This requirement is only met by a US unit conducting a close combat, or, and this is a new rule, it's one of the, two types of the heroes, isn't it? One of them's better than I think the officer's the best one, and then the NCO. But both it says if during a regular attack, an officer or NCO hero is present in the attack, they must actually supply the CC weapon requirement or tactic, if you like. And it says exception. Well, I don't know why it says exception. It says only officer and NCO hero possess CC. So the other hero, which is just a rifleman, I think. There's 3 heroes in the game. So he's just your basic normal hero that you used to get. The officer can do close combat. No, sorry, the NCO can do the close combat. And there's flamethrowers that some of them can do as well. And but the officer, I think, if I'm right, it tells you in the next rule, Grant. A rifleman hero cannot stand in for flanking, flamethrower, or close combat requirement, and an NCO hero cannot stand in for flanking or flamethrower. So that means an officer can actually supply flanking, flamethrower, or close combat. I think. We'll see that further on when it talks about heroes. Anyway, getting back to the attrition part, Grant. Well, after that rule, there's a designer's note, and the designer's note says a Japanese death marker with CC can be eliminated by an attrition result in a US attack or by barrage. Now, I didn't look at barrage right now, but I can't see anything on the attack charts that say that you can attrition a depth marker with. Okay, yeah, the barrage, maybe there is some, maybe what it's meaning as, well, hang on the barrage results, there is a DM result that you can get, and that is eliminate depth marker. So, yeah, on the actual US attack results chart, I suppose JX is 1 Japanese depth marker is eliminated. Maybe it's just meaning that. It's just the word attrition and the old rule that you used to be able to sort of say, right, I'll take a step loss and eliminate that depth marker. So maybe it's just the way it's worded there. But if any of you do have the knowledge of that being able to be done in the old way, then let me know. Okay, this next note I took is kind of a big one, and before I even noticed this note, I even had thought to myself, why am I moving things around this? Why not try and attack it? I mean, do something. We need to see it. We need to get a look at it. I mean, it's in the woods as well. Now, whether that increases things even more, because it is a pillbox, surely what does it say? Pillbox Japanese defense strength times 3. But no, there you go, man. Into the woods. Woods is a different thing. So our attack strength would still be halved into the woods, and their strength would be times 3 because they're in a pillbox. And he's got a depth marker as well. I mean, this is a really strong position. But I'm moving units about it, and then I'm also watching my playback and thinking, remember, Grant, you can only attack with 1 battalion. But what I started thinking about was these artillery, not the naval strike, the air strike. I could put one in them in, and then I was looking at artillery fire. We've not got any artillery fire points yet. We get them at the beginning of game turn 3. That's my understanding. We don't have any of them at the moment. But why not even just have an attack at that, just to have a look at it? However, that brings me to my next note. What it says, all Japanese units in a position containing a pillbox are considered revealed for barrage purposes only. So I can actually barrage this position. I mean, okay, that's not achieving amazing things because none of it's going to be revealed. But well, hang on. Yeah, none of it would still be revealed because well, it's not revealed just now, but we can treat this as being revealed. So now the position needs to be revealed to conduct barrage actions or close combat actions. Now it's only saying that for barrage purposes we can consider that to be revealed. So I think I probably want to do this. I want to have a barrage attempt at that. Now we don't have any tanks, but we do have 1 naval gunfire point and 2 dauntless airstrike points. So I think it's worthwhile. Assuming we've got I think all we need is a unit with a radio adjacent. I think the other thing we need to have something in its field of fire, which you can see they are as well. So I'm pretty sure we can do that. But I didn't know that. I thought they had to be revealed. That's an exception to that rule. Okay. Yeah, this was one that I didn't really. Again, it was another one of these ones that. So I think maybe watching that playthrough as well. Leader hit. We've not taken any leader hits, so have we? Leader hits is what the star is. The star doesn't start until turn 3. Now, that doesn't matter if they're an intense fire, because we've already found out that this game isn't the same as the older games, and that if you're in intense fire, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Well, apart from an actual. Well, that's not true. An HQ unit itself, I suppose, if it was the only target, it would get hit. I think. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's an intense fire. But however, if we did find ourselves in a position at the moment where we're still only in turn 2, where there was steady fire and a star, a leader would not be hit just as of yet, because we're not in turn 3 yet. So as far as I'm aware, that's right. So I might have been talking wrongly about that. We've not done it. It's quite tricky to get that situation where you're hitting a leader. There's more than likely other targets for you to hit at the moment. And even once we get into turn 3, it'll be probably quite hard to achieve that result. But anyway, it was just to bring it to mind, because I didn't think about it. Yeah, and this is another kind of huge one. When you're CCing. Oh, and I think I may have spoke wrongly. I know we had a unit up here for a while. No, I don't think I did. I don't think I was speaking. You need to be revealed. They need to be revealed for you to conduct close combat as well. So, yeah. We had contemplate. I think it was before this guy moved here, wasn't it? We knew it was him on his own. Oh no, he had a depth marker, and that's what put me off. That's what put me off doing the CC, because he had a depth marker. And CC's pretty brutal. It's more advantageous to the Japanese. Well, slightly, maybe not by much, but it is advantageous, I think, because you've got to. I mean, if they've got depth, you've got to disrupt them first, which is a hit. Then you've got to remove their depth marker, which is the second hit, and then you've got to eliminate the unit, which is a third hit. So you've got to have 3 clean hits on them without them hitting you, and then you've got events in between that could kick off. They could gain another depth marker back after you've just eliminated it and whatever. So, but you do have some things too. Heroism works both ways, isn't it? Heroism means you get an extra card, I think. But I think that's more beneficial for the Japanese too. Anyway, the big one was, which I didn't realise, and pretty sure this. I started thinking about movement under fire, and it got me wondering. And then I thought, well, we're going from intense brown here, but this isn't brown. Brown doesn't fire in its own hex, obviously. So I thought, right, no, that doesn't happen. And then I thought I'd read something, and yeah, I mean, it's 7.4, and it's the action to enter a hex occupied by a revealed enemy unit. A US unit that begins the US action phase adjacent to a hex occupied by a revealed enemy unit may conduct an action to enter the hex. And I also got thrown here by. It says a stack of units may only enter as part of the same action, which kind of got me thinking that meant a stack you could only move in from one hex, but that's not what that's saying. It's saying they've all got to go in together. So I could move these units in there, and then I could bring something in from there, and then we have the option of conducting hasty close combat, which is right away, or deliberate, which is once all the US actions have been taken. And clearly there must be some benefits to doing it either way, but Maybe we'll see that as the game goes on. But the one that I hadn't clicked to was it says whenever a US unit enters an occupied Japanese position, 1. The player must draw a Japanese fire card to see if Japanese fire hits any of the US units entering the hex using the Japanese fire chart. Oh yeah, I meant to check that, because does it say anything different? Japanese fire chart. What am I looking for here? Hang on. I'm not sure why it refers you to the Japanese fire chart there. So anyway, I've got to draw a card, right? And then, yeah, to see if Japanese fire hits any of the US units entering the hex using the Japanese fire chart. Well, I suppose because we're going to have multiple units maybe moving on. So it says, and then set 2, it says, this fire is treated as intense fire unless smoke covers the position or the Japanese units are disrupted. And if such is the case, the fire is steady. So even more reason to want to go in and attack and CC a unit that's disrupted, because if I went in with these units right now, I've got a diamond. Well, it doesn't matter what shape they are, it doesn't matter what symbol they are, and that's why I suppose maybe it's just worded in a way that makes it clear. I would have to draw a card, and if I drew brown on that card, a unit would get hit. Now, it wouldn't get disrupted because the position's revealed. Yeah. But not only that, that unit stacked, say if it was stacked with a depth marker, it would hit 2 of the units. So you would get two hits before you actually entered the hex, and you would be down by 2 steps maybe. And obviously if you had it disrupted, you've got that extra chance. It would need to be brown drawn, but also it would to hit that one, it would need to have been a diamond on the card. So more reason to have that way. But again, something that I wasn't quite clearly aware of, so that's why I took a note and thought it was worthy talking about here. Maybe you all were quite aware of that, but it's just one that has kind of sneaked me by. Which, just as well I had, because I've not conducted any close combat yet, so maybe lucky that I've caught it before I actually done any close combat. Yeah, I was just hunting for something else that I just read recently. I hadn't taken note of this, but of course we're talking about CC a little bit there. This is on page 21, 8.6.6, disruption in CC. Japanese units may begin a CC in a disrupted state and may become disrupted during CC. Yeah, fair enough. US units may not initiate a CC while disrupted, right? I understand that, because we can't move if we're disrupted, but may become disrupted after the CC, right? Okay, that's not what you were looking for, Grant. Is it the next bit then? Yeah. It says, being disrupted does not affect a Japanese unit's conduct of CC, whereas a US unit disrupted during CC must spend a CC round removing the disruption, as in expend a card if possible. How can... I don't know how a US unit can be disrupted within a CC, because you don't disrupt it, do you? The Japanese you do, but with us they just hit us, do they not? Yeah, here's the steps here. This is page 20. This is it's talking about the procedure. Reveal the top card from the Japanese pile. So here we go. We're scanning a CC. We reveal the top card. It says if the card shows a CC event, implement the event. Yeah, fair enough. Then B. Then if the card shows the colour of the position in which the CC is occurring, 1. Discard the top card from the US pile. Yeah, and 2. Remove a step from a participating US unit. Player's choice. A participating US hero may be eliminated instead of eliminating the last step of the unit to which the hero is assigned. And there's an important note there that says the player may also choose to discard 2 cards instead of taking the step loss. Oh, and by the way, my looking at that would mean you would discard a card, Then if you wanted to partake in that, you would discard 2 more cards to stop the step loss, my thinking is. And then C, the player may conduct US withdrawal under fire at the player's option. D, discard the current face-up card. And I don't know how a US unit can become disrupted in a CC. I thought it was maybe another event. So it's just when I read that, I thought, maybe I'm missing something simple there though. But I thought I'd chuck that in while we were talking about it. Okay, well, one other little note. You draw a new card for artillery fire. So I may have talked about the card we already drew in the Japanese fire phase as being artillery, saying that artillery was going to apply. I think I would have caught this. But because it doesn't happen until the end of the US action phase, the artillery fire, you draw a fresh card for that. So I hadn't quite noticed that first. Also, it got me thinking after watching that playthrough. Hex Encounter guy he went through the procedure, the artillery fire. And I think this is when he was in turn 3 though, and he had artillery points. Although I think he was illegally trying to barrage. He was illegally trying to take out. Oh no, hold on, Grant. Hold on. No, he maybe wasn't. Because. Yeah, because you had a look, didn't you? These positions are. That's them in there. See, this here. It's got 3 counters in that hex. That's an artillery position. It's up on the hill. That's got a pillbox in it. We can barrage that. So I maybe challenged that wrongly. Was he trying to just barrage it, or was he trying to attack it? Oh no. Yeah, but here's the other thing. To barrage, you need to have a unit in its field of fire. That was it. That was what it was. At first, I thought he was doing it wrong because they need to be revealed to be barraged. However, these are pillboxes, these 2 positions. However, part of the barrage action requires that. Make sure you've got this right, Grant. Yeah, barrage 8.4, conducting a barrage action, page 18. US tank and artillery units may barrage revealed Japanese units. So it need to be revealed. However, this important note that follows up this part is the one that tells you that a Japanese unit position containing a pillbox are considered revealed for barrage. So, okay, these are barrageable. Okay, that's probably not a word, but there you go. Units are eligible. Units are eligible to barrage a position or unit if all the requirements for tanks and artillery in 8.1 are satisfied. So you go back to 8.1, units eligible to attack. That's what it's talking about. They need to be eligible. He was using artillery points there, but oh, wait a minute. Well, it was artillery fire he was trying to do it with, which I think is what got me thinking, well, that can't be, because it says artillery points must meet all the following conditions. A US unit is in command range of a regimental HQCP and is in the field of fire of the target hex and has radios. So that would tell you that to artillery attack, make an artillery attack on that, you would need something in its field of fire, wouldn't you? So a US unit is in command range of a regimental HQ and is in the field of fire of the target hex. However, naval gunfire or airstrike says may be included in the attack if there is a naval gunfire marker or airstrike marker to expend. Additionally, at least one attacking infantry unit has a radio or is in the command range of a regimental HQ. That doesn't talk about being in the field of fire. I mean, these are talking about just attacks, but it refers you back to that from barrage, so I get the feeling that you could actually do a naval gunfire or airstrike barrage on these positions. As long as you pick one infantry. I mean, it doesn't say it needs to be in the field of fire, Anna. As long... well, it needs to be within command range of a regimental HQ, and it needs to have That's talking about at least one attacking infantry unit, Grant. So that can't be. We're looking at the wrong thing there, surely. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not quite sure then. So conducting a barrage action, US tank and artillery units may barrage revealed Japanese units. And that's only talking about tank and artillery units there as well. Why is it only mentioning tank and artillery units there? And we don't have artillery. This kind of makes me think Martin had this question or something along the lines. You know what? I think I'm just going to leave that. But however, it was something I wanted to look into because we are going to get artillery fire at the end of this turn. If it's possible for me to possibly barrage one of the positions, then, you know, it's something I might want you to consider. Where's the barrage part? Yeah, because some of the results can destroy a Japanese artillery in the position. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, here's one of Martin's questions. I think this was part of his chunky questions, but he broke it down to try and sort of get some answers, I think. It says 8.4 to 8.5, and that's kind of where I've been reading at the moment, about barrage. And the title of the question is Naval and Air Support. What, if any, conditions must be met before using naval barrages and airstrikes? Can they hit any revealed Japanese unit, e.g. the hilltop artillery positions, which is what I'm talking about here, and now I understand that what he's meaning with them is these are considered revealed because they're pillboxes. At least I'm assuming that's what he's meaning. Either that or he's moved on pretty quick and he's been up there and attacked these guys and revealed them. No, I'm pretty sure it's the first one there. 8.1 covers attacks but not barrages. Yeah, that's where I was getting confused because it talks about how a unit becomes eligible to attack, what it needs to achieve, blah, blah, blah. And 8.4 does not mention them. He also says 8.5, although it isn't stated in the instructions, I'm assuming you begin game turn 1 with 1 naval gunfire and 1 airstrike point. The answer to that is yes. Joe does answer that. However, again, rather briefly here, he says they are carried out just like regular barrages. So again, not really. So Martin follows us up. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm guessing it should be carried out like an artillery barrage then. According to 8.4, tanks and artillery are eligible to barrage if they meet the same requirements as when attacking. However, of the 3 entries in 8.1, tank units, artillery points, and naval gunfire or airstrike, only artillery points is a procedure that would make sense for a naval air barrage. I'm starting to get lost there. And then Martin finishes this with another comment that this is answered elsewhere and you treat as artillery points. Right, and I'm not sure if that makes that clear to me. So it says they act like artillery points, so use the same criteria. Oof. Well, artillery points says that you must meet all the following conditions. A US unit is in the command range of a regimental HQCP and is in the field of fire of the target hex, which then rules them out, doesn't it? And has radios. So, I don't know. That tends to make me think that although we can consider these revealed for barrage, so potentially could be barraged, I still get the feeling that we need to be sitting in its field of fire. But then that's talking about attacking, like I've said. Oh, I don't know. There's me spent almost 50 minutes just talking about some things that I've cropped up and whatever. Which, yeah, it's starting to drag me down a little, but I was trying to tell myself to try and push on through that and just try and play things out and see what happens. But I want to be playing things properly and how they should be played, and that's why it's kind of, yeah, okay. Right, well, let's see if I can maybe keep this to an hour and a half and finish this US action phase. Good luck with that, Grant. Okay, I paused for a while. Still getting myself all muddled up what I'm going to do. This is a heavy weapons company from 23rd Regiment. I'm going to move him first. I'm going to actually move him 3 X's, and I think I can do that. Yeah, pretty sure I can. So that's a clear hex, that's a clear hex, that's a clear hex. I'm not entering any field of fire. I'm going to end adjacent to that, so I need to stop them, but that's me spent my movement points anyway. So 1, and he's getting a free action from the regimental HQ. So 1, 2, 3, and then it's tricky try to keep the battalions all together. This is 123 in here, and 3 23s went up here, and 2 23s down here. But I want to be able to have a go at more than one of these guys. Of course, some of you are probably telling me that what I've got sitting here is probably enough to take both of them anyway. Yeah, that's not even the woods, Grant. I mean, do we need that heavy weapons unit along there? Well, here, see, there's me starting to change my way of thinking again. I mean, we do have these units coming on there. So I don't know if I should be splitting them up. Some of them coming this way, some of them. You want to kind of keep them beside the regimental HQ, I'm assuming. So maybe these guys should just be pushing along this way. Well, again, we're also trying to, assuming we're right with this line, which, that's a question. That's my next question on BGG. What line is it talking about? Where is the 0-1 line? Is it this line or is it up the back? And what is the other part going to be? If I want to continue the campaign, do I need to have 24 victory points, or is 15 enough to carry on to the next part of the campaign? Yeah. So, yeah, well, let's just, I mean, I don't know. Do they look like they could take this on alone? This is going to be a pillbox as well, isn't it? Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going to move this guy one. So he's from 123. Like I say, I think his guys are in there. So he's going to come up into here as well. Now I've also got. Now he's from 323, so I don't. Not fussed about that engineer. I'm going to bring that LVTA now. Well, hang on. He can go up the road there, can't he? Hang on then. Yeah, there's a road connecting there, so rather than I was just going to move him into here and maybe into there, but to be honest, I just need my 2 range. And I would have to do a check because I'm moving into the railroad there. But if I went up through that road, but then I'm moving onto a railroad hex, I mean, it just says if I'm not entering along a railroad hex, so maybe I do still need to do the check for that. That seems a bit wrong though. I mean, surely I'm not going along the railroad, I'm just going up through the road. Wait a second, let me see if I can find something like that. I mean, it just says if there are 3 asterisks, it says draw 1 card for each LVT unit not entering the hex via contiguous railroad hexes. And that kind of is the case, but that feels a bit bleh, doesn't it? I can understand if I was coming into that hex not from a road, but I am, so feels like I should be able to just move along the road, doesn't it? Right then, okay. Well, I want to move it here first then, rather than go there, because if it gets disrupted into there, well, doesn't really matter. Maybe not. Okay, so I'm going to move it there, so I'm going to draw a card there. I'm going to have to draw a card for that. see if I get a triangle. That feels a bit wrong, but well, not moving the way I'm doing it. But you could see if I was able to avoid it going up the road there and then along the road there. Okay, just keep going, Grant. Keep going. Oh, right, we've got a triangle in. So he is disrupted there, unfortunately. Yeah. Now, these guys I'm going to leave here. The ones underneath, this is his battalion HQs underneath. So they're going to be, because it looks like I want to move the doodah. What do I want to do with that guy? Well, I probably want to keep him with him, don't I? Well, I can't stack that in there though, because then that'd be overstacking it. I think there's two. Yeah, there's two already in there. So yeah, but I still kind of want to keep them together, don't I? Although I'm not sure what I'm going to do with him. So I think what I'll do is, you know what, I'll keep that engineer with that. I'm just going to move that into there, and I'm going to move him into there as well. Now these would get a free action from this too. That's disrupted. Probably just going to remove disruption from both of them. It looks like this is better being moved into, I would say, here. Now can I do that though, Grant? Well, no, you can't. Because that would be movement under fire, wouldn't it? No, it's not. That's not movement under fire, because there's no green in there. Yellow fires in there, admittedly, but yellow's disrupted. Green only fires into there. It doesn't fire into there. So I can move, that's 1.5. And then another 1.5 into there. So I think I can move my HQ 1.5, 3 into there. Because I kind of want to pick up these two stacks for free actions. Right, pretty sure disruption removal, that one's just been disrupted. So let's move on. Yeah, there's no real point. I was going to start looking at what I've got left here because I had a couple of units at range. Admittedly, again, here we're at the same situation. This is from 125. This is from 325. They can't both attack together. Well, actually, there was no... I don't think I've read anything about CCing together with battalions. So there's that. These are 125. Yeah, but they've only managed to get in there, so... But anyway, we've not got enough strength to be able to try and attack it just now. However, why not we try and disrupt it and barrage this position? Because this is a pillbox, okay? So this is considered revealed. We are in its field of fire, which I think is a requirement for this barrage. So we don't have artillery points. However, like I said, we do have 2 dauntless airstrikes and 1 naval gunfire. So why not use one of the airstrike points to attempt to barrage on this? Let's have a look at that, maybe. And we're going to say we've got a radio here. There's an HQ adjacent. These guys have radios as well, don't they? You have radios as a full strength infantry unit, don't you? Yeah. So we've got the radio part, and the other part. I mean, again, I'm just looking at the attack part here. Although Joe's answer was looking at our artillery points part. So again, what a mess, really. I'm starting to feel a lot worse about this rule book, for sure. Yeah, I really am. I feel like there's an awful lot that could be cleared up. An awful lot to the point of like starting, redoing it. I think. Like what they're doing with Iwo Jima. Well, if they ever actually do it, the thing that worries me from that is this is meant to be what Iwo Jima was meant to be rulebook wise. So yeah, okay. And Iwo Jima looks it's got more complications within it. It's got the black positions. It's got double positions. I think there's a lot more to it. So anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole. So the artillery points part says it needs to be in command range of a regimental. US unit is in command range of a regimental HQ. Well, yeah, we are. We're in command of that regimental HQ. If that is required, that's talking artillery. And is in field of fire of the target hex, yeah, and has radios, yeah. Now, if it's for the airstrike, it says at least one attacking infantry unit has a radio or is in command range of a regimental HQ. Well, we've got both there as well. So I think we've got all our bases covered. And this is counted as revealed for barrage purposes. So I think we've got all covered. So resolve a barrage. To resolve a barrage, conduct the following steps in order. Calculate the strength of the barrage and find the column in the barrage table. And we could barrage more than once. 8.4.1 multi-unit barrages, page 19. A Japanese occupied hex may be barraged by any number of units in an action phase. However, each firing unit barrages alone, and the exception is tanks, but we're not using tanks here. So we could do this. Well, we've got 2 airstrike points and 1 naval gunfire point, so I think we could potentially have a go at this 3 times. So let's look at the barrage table then, right? Well, we've not looked at this yet. See if I can get it on camera maybe. Well, I can, but I can't get the unit in place. But we know nothing about the unit anyway, but we're only trying to disrupt. Well, I say we're only trying to disrupt it. Here's the bits that are shown these are artillery destroyed, but there's no artillery in that position. Don't believe so. No. There's no artillery in it. So, now, why does it tell you the strength of them? Why doesn't it tell you the strength of them? It tells you how many. It tells you how many artillery points you can use. One of them's 4 and one of them's 5, I think. Hang on. Oh, it's actually 6 and 5. So each naval gunfire point has a combat strength of 6, and each airstrike point has a combat strength of 5. However, you'll notice here, which I'd noticed when I was looking at this, pillboxes, all barrages against this type of position suffer a 1 column shift left, except for those barrages with a strength greater than 6. Well, we're definitely not going to get greater than 6. I think that's when there's 2 tanks together. Yeah. So that's the only possibility of getting greater than 6 if you've got 2 4-strength tanks. Let's see when the 4s go down. Well, actually, a reduced tank is a 3, so you could get a full strength and a reduced strength tank together. However, we've not got any of that. So it would mean we're going to be using either this column or this column. However, we're going to get a column shift left because of the fact that this is a pillbox. So I want to just have a look at these results before I decide which one to use. Because I don't want to do it more than once. I'm saying that I can try it 3 times. I only want to do it once and get a result and get it disrupted. The main reason I'm doing this is because that position can fire and hit 2 positions, so whereas if it's disrupted, yeah, that's good. And and then next turn we can maybe try something against it, because at least it's still going to be disrupted and we might be able to, maybe have a go. So let's try and look at this table though first. So the difference between the 3rd and the 4th column here is this is what we were looking at, because we're either going to be 5 moving down to 4 or 4 moving down to 3. You can see there's an art there. That's an artillery, destroy 1 Japanese artillery. Well, we don't need that anyway, and we don't need that, and we get that one there. And these are, so if we got the symbol on a 3, that would be D1. If we got the colour, it would be D1. If we got both, it would be D1, and we would hit an artillery position. So, and D1 is disrupt one Japanese unit. Well, yeah, and D says disrupt all Japanese units. So, I mean, there is only one unit. Pillbox doesn't count as a unit, does it? I know it counts as a unit for the purposes of, I want to say movement under fire, I think. Yeah, the feeling it was a wee... Oh, damn. Whoops, hang on. Sorry, I almost knocked the tripod over there. Yeah, the feeling it was a wee important note somewhere, page 14. It was just to confirm that, like, a pillbox doesn't count as a unit, but there's a wee important note under movement under fire and infiltration fire. Important, a position occupied solely by a pillbox qualifies as an occupied Japanese position for purposes of movement under fire and infiltration fire. Yeah, come on, Grant, a pillbox is not a unit. So the result D1 is what we need. We don't need a D result, in actual fact, to disrupt all the Japanese units, because there's only one. We just want to disrupt that position. So that would be fine. So that would allow us to just get the colour. Or the symbol. So that's basically, that's good odds. Well, the best kind of odds you're going to get. I don't think, what's PB? Oh, pillbox eliminated. But that's why we're shifting. Oh, there's one there though. So that the added bonus to us using the naval gunfire, which shifts us down to the 4 column, is that if we were to get the symbol and the colour, we would eliminate the pillbox. And we would disrupt. Ooh. That's tempting then, isn't it? I mean, colour and symbol is tough, but I mean, we do only have one naval gunfire point. Now, I came across a part, hang on. Yeah, page 19, 8.5, naval gunfire, airstrike, and artillery points. There's a bullet in there that says the player may never carry over more than 2 NG and 2 AS points from day to day. So you can actually keep 2 of them. I thought maybe you lost them. And yeah, there was, see the artillery, the way it dishes out artillery points and these points, that was confusing as well. Honestly, maybe just me, that one, but I mean, we get... Oh, you know what? I'm not even going to go into it yet until we get on to turn 3 and try, and then maybe I can talk about the artillery points. But so we automatically receive one of each at the start of each game turn, AM game turn. So each day we're going to get another 1 AS and 1 NG point. So that's basically game turn 5, isn't it? If we carry on. So, you know, if we use this naval gunfire point now, then I mean we gained one from an event. We gained an airstrike point from an event. I'm assuming you can maybe get naval gunfire points as well. So what do we try? Because if we took that pillbox out, yeah, it's tempting, isn't it? Will we give it a go? Should I look at the last card that was drawn to see what the colour and symbol was? Is that tempting fate? What are we looking for? It's a red position, and what would the symbol be? Oh, the symbol is based on these. So if we're using naval gunfire, it'd be a triangle, and it's red. Look at the last card we drew. A red triangle. Why did you look, Grant? Yeah, that's putting me off doing it now. Well, why don't I just use an airstrike point, and we'll see if we can get the colour or the symbol first, because we've got 2 of them, and if we get the disrupt there, we'll just settle with that. If we don't, then I might be tempted to go for the naval gunfire. Right, let's do that. So I'm going to draw a card. We're going to use airstrike, so we're on the 4 column, but we're shift down to 3 column because it's a pillbox. We basically need either the symbol or the fire colour. That's kind of irrelevant. So the symbol or the fire colour, and the symbol for airstrike, well actually it's a circle for the airstrike. It was triangle for the naval gunfire. So we're looking for a red card or a circle. So here we go. Oof. Oh, it's a red triangle. See now, if I hadn't looked at that last card, I might have been tempted to go for it, and we would have got rid of that pillbox, wouldn't we? If we had went for the gunfire, we would have got a red triangle. Okay, well you didn't, Grant. So I did get the red though, which is all I needed for. So we got the fire core, we got D1, we disrupt 1 Japanese unit, so we're getting to disrupt it. Okay, so, well, I'm not 100% sure if I got all that right, but I'm going to have to just push on and go through these things, and yeah, we'll find out if we're getting things wrong, and hopefully we'll adjust accordingly. Right, what more can I do down here then? Yeah, I don't want to do them with this. This is all from 325. So now we've got this disrupted as well, although he's sitting in intense red. There's no harm. Well, I know you can. I'm pretty sure the events out there. Well, actually, I've seen it. The guy got it in his playthrough to remove all Japanese disruption. It's a brutal event. So there's always a risk of that, but you can't. That's just the random luck, isn't it? Actually, yeah, but we don't. We kind of want this guy back in action, don't we? But we could now, preservation move. Preservation move him into there. But it means he stays disrupted. And, I kind of like to think that might, because you can use 1 heavy weapons unit from the regiment. So I could attack, I could attack with a whole battalion and 1 heavy weapons unit. So I would quite like to have him available. Whereas if a preservation move, he's staying disrupted. However, he's sitting in intense brown. If I just undisrupt him, well, he's ready to go, but he's in intense brown. If brown fires again, So, right, let me just come back to that one then, because that is it's disrupted anyway. So if we're going to just remove disruption, we need to do that at the end. Right, what about these two? And then we've got look at these two first, Grant. Right, I think I should preservation move this guy. Now he's in a beach hex, so because he's in intense brown, he's been hit twice. So I'm going to preservation move him into there. Now it's going from intense brown, but it's not finishing in brown, so there's no check there. Nah. But I think these guys, this guy, he's got a stat loss. He's from 325 as well, but he's in blue and yellow. So I think, I could preservation move him in there as well, but I think we'd benefit more by getting his disruption removed. So that's going to be a disruption removal, which means yeah, and then that's just an engineer unit that's reduced under there that's disrupted, but I'll just remove disruption from him. I think we're as well leaving the regimental HQ where it is, because it's round about everything. So yeah, so I think that'll stay intact. A wee bit disruption removal there. Okay, again I realise these are from 25th Regiment, which is down here. So I don't really want to stray them up there. We've got the 23rd Regiment up there. I need to start looking at that, and I think the 21st as well, isn't it? Some disruption markers there. So, and this is sitting in intense green, whereas this hex here is just steady red. Yeah, I don't want to move into there. I think I'm going to move this guy across into here. And this guy's a bit in a bit of bother, really. He could... Well, hang on. He could actually have preservation moved into here, Grant. What have you got in here? Too much. This is a mistake that I made, wasn't it? Put that LVT in there. I could have got that guy in there as well. I remember that now. That was silly. So now we've got a full stack there, really, haven't we? Yeah. And then the best... Well, hang on. Is he allowed to move back here? I don't see why not. It's just he's sitting in intense green there. Oh, you know what? It might end up being a bit of cannon fodder. In some ways, you might want to take a hit rather than these guys. And we have been confirmed now twice that it is the symbol that gets looked at first. Doesn't look at closest, it looks at the symbol first. I'm just going to leave him there then. These two guys, I don't know. It's not really I think I'll just leave them there at the moment as well. It's not as if they're clogging up any landing. I don't want to move them in there because that's intense brown. It's just it's an engineering. No, that doesn't really help. Right, I think I'm just going to leave them there. Right, okay. Okay, so I'm pretty sure everything down there now is disruption removal. We've moved that regimental HQ. We don't want to move this regimental HQ, and everything down here is disruption removal. Yeah, we decided we weren't going to move them. They're fine. There's nothing overstacked there. So I think everything there's fine. It doesn't look like I used any actions there at all, did I? Unless... Now, have I maybe cheated? No, that's an HQ, that one. I don't think so. Well, you know what? I don't think I needed 3 actions down there. If I have moved something without giving it an action, I'm pretty sure everything's alright. That's me fine with that side. So I just need to remind myself of what's going on at the top here, and then we can get this bit wrapped up, hopefully. Okay. Okay, just looking at this section here, I've been having a wee look, these disruption. I thought maybe we might want to move this preservation move, this stack here, but there's an intense blue, blue's firing there, and I didn't notice, but blue fires into there as well, so I had thought that was an option. I mean, I could move it into there, which, to be honest, it's safer, Grant. But, what is it? It's part of 2. Is it part of 2? Yeah, maybe I should then. See, that's from 3rd Battalion. And this is from 2nd Battalion. And that's from 1st Battalion. And the other bits from 2nd Battalion are there, but that is a safer hex to be in. Although I could just sit there and remove disruption. That not better, and then we can keep them together, I think. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. As for the regimental HQ, I don't know, it's all kind of stretched out here a bit, so... I mean, sitting there, he'd give command to what he's with, that and that. However, these two, what's under there? Is that an HQ? That is an HQ under there, so that's fine. So this would need an action, for instance. Yeah, I think we just leave that one where it is, to be honest. Right, let's look at the final bit. Right, we're starting to get worn out there. Well, I'm just going to leave everything. But no, just as well looked. This guy, who's taken a step loss, he's sitting in intense brown, intense red, purple and yellow. Purple we're in, yellow's disrupted. Now, I'm assuming I must have made an attack on this. Because I don't think I'd be revisiting a bit where, I can attack something. So I'm just going to assume that. I'm pretty sure that's right. It was that long ago. However, this guy's disrupted and can make a preservation move. This is a nice safe hex. Just steady yellow. Now, I would be going from yellow to yellow, but this is disrupted. So, I'm going to move this with a preservation move into here to get in a nice safer hex. Now, he stays disrupted. He was in a beach landing hex, so he can do that. And that also keeps him with his headquarters. The other, so we've got the headquarters up there. We've got this here, which had the step loss. Oh, well, yeah, I could no, I can't preservation move it, can I? I can't do nothing with that. Because I'd be moving into intense field of fire. He's kind of like sitting, not really much you can do, I don't think. And I get the feeling nothing, I can't do anything with this. Well, that's cute. This is an intense red, and that's steady red. That would be a movement of fire. And unfortunately, I've not got the HQ that's in there. Is not his HQ. This is from 3rd Battalion. And it's from 2nd. Ooh. Did I talk about that whole possibility where you can command one from, as long as it's from the same regiment? Does that allow me to give that a free action though, Grant? No, it doesn't, does it? Does it? Well, maybe it does. Actually, I want to say that we came to that conclusion, didn't we? Whereas commanding a battalion HQ provides command to any infantry belonging to its battalion and one other rifle infantry company from the same regiment. And it says if those units are within 3 hexes. Well, we're not at that stage regarding command, because everyone's in command, but free actions, infantry units that are stacked with an infantry battalion HQ unit. I think that one's okay, and I get the feeling that I have been talking about that, and that's why that guy's still sitting there. Because maybe I wasn't sure, or maybe I didn't want to do it, or whatever. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just start doing some things and hope for the best, I think. Because yeah. So I'm gonna move this guy into here because we'd like to get adjacent to this. And this is movement under fire though. This is going from intense into yeah. But it's just red, Grant. It's only red that's the issue. Purple and yellow's disrupted, and purple we're in. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try that. I mean, we've no cannon fodder. We've not got an LVT to take with us. That's unfortunate. So, however, the last 2 cards we're drawing have been red, because we know that. So yeah, let's take a chance. So we're assuming we can get a free action from this because that HQ can command one other. A battalion from from the same regiment, one other battalion from the same regiment. That might be wrong. Please point me out. Call me out if I'm getting any of these wrong. But yeah, I'm going to start going with some things now. Right, let's go for this movement under fire then. So we're not wanting red on the card. Come on, 3 red in the trot. Right, well that worked out bad then, because he's taken a hit now and is disrupted. He already had a step loss, so that can come off. He is hit there. That's him had his action as well. So he's hit. I can remove that, and he gets the disruption marker. I think it was worth the try though, because if I got into that position, we could have had to go at that red next turn, whereas we can't. We can't now. We've not got anything adjacent to this red position, so So that's going to go under there, and everyone's had an action. So maybe the last thing to think about is the regimental HQ. Well, I was going to say it'd be better in there than there, but again, this is movement under fire, so I'm just going to leave that where it is, I think. Right, I think I'm done. It's about time, eh? Right, I was about to start taking disruption off. I thought there was something that happens. I thought it was maybe the artillery fire that happens before you move disruption off the units. Maybe I should check. I'm looking at it now though. It happens at the end of the US action phase. After all US actions are finished, Japanese artillery fire is conducted. There was something I read recently about not happening, about just before you remove disruption. That's the only thing I could think it was the artillery fire. But I'm not seeing it, so maybe it was something else. Can it disrupt? Oh, hang on. See, the player may disrupt 2 units in the hex instead of suffering step loss. Maybe that's why. Right, let me try and find this. Oh, there's another note that I didn't take that I meant to. Another important note. 7.6 disrupted US units, page 16. The important note being units adjacent to a Japanese position and in an intense field of fire containing undisrupted Japanese units or depth markers. Don't know why it's saying or depth markers. No, what I think it's meaning there is that a position, Japanese position, if it's got an undisrupted Japanese unit, or it's got a disrupted Japanese unit with a depth marker, it cannot recover from disruption. So yeah, the case being here, this is disrupted, and now I think the way that's worded, that if that had a depth marker, although it's disrupted, I would not be able to remove that disruption. Well, it's going to be in the intense field of fire, which I'm pretty sure that is an intense yellow. Please tell me if I've got that wrong. Just the way, why would it say containing undisrupted Japanese units or depth markers? Yeah, I think that means it doesn't matter if it's disrupted or not. If it's got a depth marker, you cannot recover. Just looking about. I don't think I've got anything that's disrupted that would be an intent. Well, no, actually. Yeah, you do, Grant. You do. So am I not as well trying to move that then? Ah, dear. Okay, well, this one up here is not. However, just looking down here, this one, which I said I'm just going to leave, this is an intense red and blue. And both these are undisrupted. So that tells me I cannot remove that disruption. And now, that's one unit with a step loss, isn't it? So the thing is, blue fires into here too, doesn't it? So I can't even make that. Yeah, I remember this from the previous game, that there was times where you just couldn't get your units moving. So I cannot remove disruption. I cannot do a preservation move with that because there's nowhere to move. So that guy just needs to sit as he is. So I'm actually just going to turn him that way because there's nothing I can do about him. I think I'm going to remove my disruption. I can't find the bit. that... I thought I might have told me in there. Well, hang on. No, that's not it either. There was something I read that said you do it before removing disruption. I can't see it. So I'm just going to get my disruption removed, I think. Okay, so I think this one was okay, wasn't it? So we can take disruption off of that, and then he's a unit with step loss, another unit with step loss, and an LVT. So that's fine. There's not overstacking issues there. That can come away. And then, well, like we've said, we can't do anything about that guy. We've not moved that engineer. That H... Oh, hold on. Well, here as well. We've got the same situation here. Which is what I just moved out. Sorry, I'm not showing you. This is all stacked in this hex here. And this is in blue intense. Right, why wasn't I wanting to move that then? Well, I can't move from there to there. Preservation wise, we're talking. I think I was just hoping I was going to... Yeah, I think I said, yeah, I'll just leave them and remove disruption. Well, I can't remove disruption because it's an intense blue. That's what it says. Oh, stop, Grant. It does say adjacent. Right. So this guy was alright. Sorry, I did read it as well, didn't I? Just never took it in. So we are going to leave that, yeah? Well, in fact, I'm going to remove disruption from that now then. Hopefully the bit that I'm talking about, the artillery, doesn't have an effect on that. So I'm going to be able to remove disruption from that as well, haven't I? Yeah, because I did think about... That was a valid thought about preservation move that, and I thought, no, you know what, we want to keep them together. So I was able to remove disruption from that. That one got disrupted this turn. So that one stays down. That was right, wasn't it? It was this one, yeah, it was this one, yeah. Okay. Right, let me move down. Okay, so it's not quite as brutal as I thought. So disruption off there. And off here. Put the HQ on top. In fact, put him on top. He's not got a step loss. So that's two companies a battalion with our leader, so that's nice. He had got disrupted this turn. This guy removed disruption. And then... Oh. Oh no. This one is going to count, innit? Well, that makes my mind up there then. I'm going to... Because this is just what I've said. That this is adjacent, right? It's adjacent to a Japanese position with an intense field of fire. Now, it doesn't contain an undisrupted Japanese unit. However, it does it says or depth markers. I'm curious about that one. But the way it's worded, why would it say or depth markers? That tells me that this can be disrupted. If it's got a depth marker and we're adjacent to that, we cannot... Oh, but I can't move... Oh yeah, you can, Grant. This is disrupted. Okay, so I'm gonna do what's it? Preservation move into there with that guy, because I can't remove his disruption anyway. And although I'm moving from red to red, he's disrupted, won't fire. And brown, I was moving from brown, but brown doesn't fire into there. So yeah. Tell me if I've got that wrong though, guys. Tell me if I'm reading that wrong, and I would be able to remove that, because this guy has a depth marker. Oh, these guys underneath are going to be the same. Oh, man. Just when I think I'm coming to the end. Well, I want to move them as well then, I suppose. What are they? 325. He is. Well, where's 325? Is it back that way? Is that that? That's 325. Where was he in there? You're gonna get him in a mess here, Grant. No, that's his headquarters, isn't it? I think. Yeah, I want to say they were like that, and it was this that was disrupted. Was that right? Or was it more than that? Oh. I think that was sitting on top and we had that situation, didn't we? Yeah. And had these moved? Had these done something? No, I don't think they had. We decided we were going to leave them, didn't we? The thing with that is though, what is the point in me? I'm moving them into intense red there with that one anyway. This one makes sense. This isn't an intense anymore. So what I'm going to do is move them into there, and they're not going to be able to. Yeah, I would need to move them away from the position. There. Right, I'm just going to leave it then. I think if any attack is going to come from 125. However, I thought I was getting the chance of the heavy weapons company, and now I'm not, because it's disrupted too. So this cannot recover from disruption, the way I'm reading things, and we're just going to not have moved that. I assume. Yeah, that's kind of rubbish, isn't it? Well, we're going to have to try and do something about this guy. We will be able to remove disruption from this. It's just an engineer unit. Still got some disruption down below there, which is going to have to stay. That's going to come away as well. That has to stay. That engineer and the LVT we just left where it is. So, right, I think that's it. Yeah, this is kind of rubbish, this whole not being able to undisrupt when being adjacent, isn't it? Yeah, I do remember that. I'm pretty sure that's in Iwo Jima, and it's like, it was kind of brutal. You thought, it's difficult to get out. I mean, we've got to try and do something about that. Oh, if I'd only drawn that, went for the naval gunfire. Oh, I never adjusted my airstrike point, actually. We've still got one left, though. Right, okay, right, let's get the artillery done then. Right, well, we have to draw a card first, but I just noticed the last card we drew did not have artillery on it, so. And I think a lot of them do, so. Right, we'll get to the page, Grant. It's page 13, I think. Right, Japanese artillery fires occurs at the end of each US action phase on game turn 2 and game turn 4. Right, so this is game turn 2, the end of. One fire card is drawn each time artillery fire is conducted. If the artillery symbol shown in the card, Japanese artillery fire occurs this game turn. And it applies to the whole map. Well, let's draw it first, because we might get lucky, you never know. Sadly not. Right, so that's orange circle, basically. So the bottom left of the card there. So what do we do now then? When Japanese artillery attacks are conducted, targets for these attacks are chosen according to the priority listed below. The unit must be in a field of fire of a position that matches the fire colour on the artillery fire card. And the position that matches the fire colour on the fire card may contain disrupted Japanese units. So it's nothing to do with the unit itself. This artillery fire is coming from afar. It says during game turns 1 through 4, the unit is on or adjacent to a beach hex. So on or adjacent to a beach hex, pretty sure we're going to find that. But how many hits are we getting here though? Because they have multiple hits, don't they? Yeah, it says there, hit limit 6.5.4 on page 13, hit limit. The total strength value of a Japanese artillery attack is the hit limit of that attack. So, and it's got an example there. If there are 4 Japanese artillery positions still intact on the game map, the strength of Japanese artillery fire will be 4. This means that the hit limit of Japanese artillery fire will equal 4. Wow, this is brutal then, because I think Martin mentioned the number was 8, was it not? So, and we've not taken any out, and my assumption, the fact he's not taken any out either in his game. And this is what the guy that done another playthrough, he was trying to take these out. Admittedly, it was in turn 3 and he had some artillery points, but I think what he was doing was illegal, but who knows, maybe not. Well, let's just look. Like I said, it looks like these hills up here. That one's got 3 artillery icons in it. That one's got 2. That's 5. Now, there is one way up here, isn't there? No, that's not, though. So 5. Right, that's only 2 with pillboxes then, I think. So is it just up over the hills then? That was 5. What's here? No. It's not the hills. So we looked at that one. Is it just in here then? No. Right, hang on. Let me look at that wee setup map, because I think it's got them marked on that, isn't it? It might not have, mind you. Oh, it does. So yeah, so 3 at E1, the green one, and then 2 there, that's 5. We're thinking there's 8. Oh, there's 1 down here. Oh yeah, that's a pillbox as well. Right. There's not an icon in there, but there is on this map. Is it that one? Yeah, it's right at the bottom. Could that be an error? I do seem to remember some confusion about the amount. Somebody had posted a question that you could only find, there was something about there only being 7 and there should have been 8 or something. Well, right, D12, way up the back there. There's 1. So counting the ones we've definitely got at 5, that's 6. And then right, pause. Okay, I think I found a issue. Martin, if you're watching, the post was called Minor Issues. I think there is only 7 positions. Well, was that Doug Johnson answered the question? I think he's the guy that's been dealing with I think he's involved in the rules. Is his name in the book maybe somewhere? Sorry, Doug. Maybe you've got credits in there maybe. Yeah, managing developer. So and I get the feeling he was involved with maybe the rewrite of the Iwo Jima rules. I feel like his name was maybe involved. I might have that wrong. Anyway, the question was from Mark somebody, I think. And there's 8 artillery destroyed markers. I think that's what gives you the impression that there could be 8 positions. But apparently Doug says there's only 7. Mark does call out the fact they actually call it 0431 hex, but to me it's 0432, so yeah, that is 0432. On the setup display, that's showing an artillery icon. That should have an artillery icon. So that is not 1, and then there's 2 in there, 3 in there, and then there's that 1 that's empty up there. So according to Doug, there is just a total of 7, yeah, and the reason you've got 8 markers, we don't know, you just ignore the last one. So I think there's only 7 firing. So we'll see. Let's say the post was called Minor Issues, Martin, if you want to look, because it looks like you may have been giving yourself an extra hit there as well. Unless, of course, I have something wrong. That's possible. So we're firing on orange. We're getting 7 hits because we've not destroyed any of the artillery positions. So I'm going to take 7 hits, and we're looking for beach or adjacent to beach, orange. Now, if the target hex is an intense field of fire, or a concentrated or overstacked hex is always in an intense field of fire. To be honest, I don't think we've got any. I think I've managed things okay. So, but there's nothing to say that they're not an intense anyway. So 1 unit in the hex suffers 1 step loss, or the player may disrupt 2 units in the hex. Right, okay. I'm wondering, that's what makes me wonder if maybe I should be doing this before removing my disruption, but I can't read it now. I did read something about it, but I can't see it there. So, and then 2, so we can either take a step loss if it's an intense, or I can disrupt 2 units in that actual hex. I think I'm probably just going to take some step losses here. Keep it simple. If the target hex is in steady field of fire, 1 unit is disrupted. However, if a unit has a matching target symbol, that unit must suffer 1 step loss with no disruption. The player may still disrupt 2 units to avoid this loss. No unit can take a second loss in the same action. Hits are spread out evenly among eligible hexes. And a US tank unit can be disrupted in lieu of a step loss if no other unit in the hex has a matching target symbol. Right, and we've got 7 hits, right. Orange circle. So Martin's question was, once you've looked at, what was it again? Was he wanted to know, because I'm guessing I'm going to have the same thing about what priority to look at next. Well, you know what? It was concentrated, wasn't it? That was his answer. Concentrated over stacked hexes, but I don't believe I've got any. Could be wrong, but right, okay, let's look for 7 orange hits then. So it's going to be my choice if there's more than 7 that I can find, I think. I'm saying orange there and I'm meaning yellow light, but, well, yeah, there's going to be lots of choices, isn't there? There's 1 there. Well, you know what, he's taken a step loss already this turn. Should I just give him 1? Let's do it, Grant, come on. Right, flip him over. He loses his step loss counter. So that's 1. Because he's in a beach hex, yeah, that's right. That's not either. That's unsteady. That's intense. This is brutal, isn't it? Okay. Well, hang on though. We didn't get to pick steps, did we? Yeah. Stop picking on your infantry, Grant. It just says 1 unit. Yeah, pick some LVTs. So that's 2. We might be coming back to revisit that. Oh, hang on. We need to spread it between the hexes, I think. Did I not say that? No unit can take a second loss in the same action. Hits are spread out evenly among eligible hexes. Okay, so I can't target that, but I'm going to be looking for some more LVTs then. So let's just assume I've taken that. Yeah, I'm not going to find... Yeah, let's just give that guy the hat. So what have we got? Have we got an LVT in here? We do. Right. Well, I'm taking the hits on them. I'll tell you why. The other thing that was reminded to me, I think it was possibly Martin mentioned that, which... Okay, I'll tidy it up. Yeah, Martin mentioned that, I think, which I'd forgotten about, was these LVTs getting removed from the game at the end of game turn 4. Anyway, so... I can't see them being... I don't know. It does make me wonder if maybe that lineup at the back is what you used up until game 4. I don't know. Right, so I got another one there, so that's 3. Now, Well, this will be yellow. And remember, it doesn't matter that this is disrupted. Well, that guy's already taken. In fact, he's taken 2 hits, that guy. So I'd rather look elsewhere. But that's 3 up to now. I do have potential to hit on that hex still. That one's steady, so I might have to come back and revisit that. Well, hang on, did I get the... Or do I have to prioritise intense first? I don't think it specifically says that. So 3 up to now. Right, let me try and find some more. Okay, I found my 4th one. It's in here. This is an intense yellow. That's an LVT. I'm just removing that from the game. So that was 4. I'm assuming I'm okay to do this that way, but well, that's not an intense. That is. I'd rather not take that though. So I still get to find 3 more. He's steady with a circle, so yeah. Right, what we got up here though? That's an intense. Oh, there's another one. So I'm flipping that to 5. I've got 2 more to find. That's me got 5. I've got 2 more to find, and yeah, you're gonna have to be careful that you do this. What I might have been better doing here is resetting all my units and then taking hits on them, turning them sideways while I counted this out, because I could get muddled up here. I've still got 2 to take, but I mean, this is an intense. I don't really want to take that if I can avoid that. However, it really only stretches up to here, and some of these are unsteady. I'm not sure if I can target the steady or not if I get the option. Let me look at Martin's question again. I'm also forgetting I've got to disrupt these units, haven't I? Oh, I'm getting myself in a mess now. Did I not disrupt the first one I done up there? Well, this guy took the first hit, didn't he? So he's disrupted. And you must... It does look like he's looking at intense first. And that seems to be the question. So I wasn't reading it there as priorities, but if the target is intense, 1 unit suffers 1 stat loss. Oh, hang on. If the target hex is an intense with the fire, 1 unit suffers stat loss, or the player may disrupt 2 units. If any US unit in that hex has a target symbol matching the artillery fire card, that unit must take the first hit and is also disrupted. Oh, well, that was a circle, so we can get away with that one. It's an orange circle, so we need to actually look for orange circles first. Damn. Right, this one was one of the other ones I've done. Now, he has a circle too, so maybe we're getting kind of lucky here. And I can't, yeah, there's also these other, they're all circles in there, but I can't target that hex again. So he was hit and disrupted. That's 2. Now, there was another one in here, I think. Yeah, it was in this hex. Unfortunately, that is not a circle, though. That's when I've lost it a bit. So that's me only done 2. Oh, Grant, you're going to get messed up. You're really going to get messed up here. Because I said I'd done 5, hadn't I? Okay, so I had 5. I found 3 of them, and I've removed 1 of them, which wasn't right. So I've actually done 2. This was the other one here. Is this? It's a diamond as well. So he cannot have taken it as well. So that's been found 4. So we've only actually done 2. There's 1 more that I'm sure I've done 5. for... I can't find any in here though. Remember, I might have been... No, I don't think it was that. No. Right, you know what I might need to do, guys? I might need to... These unsteady. I didn't know what to take a hit on them. Oh, what a mess. I think that's me only done 2, but I've replaced 2 of which I found, I think, 5. So I think I'm missing 1. I think I took a hit on 1 somewhere. So I need to watch back the video. Right, I'm not going to put you through this pain. I'm going to work it out, and off camera, once I watch this and fix this mess, it looks like we've got 2, but we still need to find out. We still need to pick another 5. However, I'm looking for the priorities. I'm looking for intense, an intense yellow, and also have the circle as a symbol. So we do have 2 definites. Hopefully I can find that other one that I messed up. But I'm pretty sure I said we had 5 at one point. Right, okay. This has gone on long enough. Almost 2 hours now. At least I got moving there a little bit. And then hopefully once I've looked over that and can finish this off, and I'll point out where the artillery hits were. But from now on, what I'm going to do is reset all my units before I start dishing out artillery hits. I'm also going to be doing it properly though, rather than messing up the priorities, which was daft. Okay, yeah, pretty long episode. Didn't expect it to go that long, but you've said that before, Grant. Well, I really need to fix this blunder before I play again, so it does look like that's me for the night. It is late-ish, and I was doubtful about starting again. But hopefully, if I can review this before tomorrow sometime, and get it fixed, and then we can start with... we'll be going into game turn 3 then, won't we? Yeah. Okay, right, I'll get away for now, and I'll be back tomorrow at some point. Okay, cheers.